What if you have been manifesting your future every single day without even realizing it? And what if the reason why you've been feeling stuck has less to do with bad luck and more to do with the story your brain keeps rehearsing? Today, we are talking about manifestation, the science behind it, and the one simple question that could completely change the direction of your life.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I am Carrie Marie, and this is season 3 of Holistic Mama Speaks, the podcast where I share tips and insights and real talk about living happier, living healthier, living more abundantly, and living on purpose. From prioritizing and time management to detoxing and realigning your body, home life, work life, boosting self-worth, confidence, to holistic wellness, family, relationships, and everything in between. I've got you covered. That's why it's holistic. Whether you are juggling mom life, chasing your big dream, or just looking for ways to feel better inside and out, you are in the right place. And I'm so excited that you are here. So just a quick note, I am not a doctor, therapist, or financial advisor. I'm just here to share what's worked for me and others who I've worked with, and from what I've learned and picked up along the way. So for a full disclosure on everything, head on over to holisticmamaspeaks.com. Let's dive into the episode. So, are you manifesting what you want or exactly what you don't want? That is the question. Manifestation. Okay, so that word right there, when you hear it, does it give you some kind of a response? Do you feel a certain way? Do you think a certain way? Depending on who you ask, the word manifestation would either spark excitement or maybe some eye rolls. Some people picture vision boards, affirmations, positive thinking, and others just completely dismiss it with like maybe it's wishful thinking or woo-woo or something that simply doesn't even exist. There's no such thing as manifestation. But what if manifestation isn't mysterious? It isn't as mysterious as people think and how they make it out to be. Today, I'm actually going to be diving in even deeper to this topic because, manifestation is simply a word that is used to describe something that your brain and body are already doing every single day. Other names that some people use in place of the word manifesting are sometimes aligning or attracting. You've probably heard of law of attraction, right? So I hinted on this just a little while ago. You are already manifesting. Yikes, right? Whether you have been realizing it or not, your thoughts influence your emotions. Your emotions influence your actions. Your actions influence your habits, and your habits influence results. So it's like this big cycle. And so, in other words, you are constantly creating your future by what you repeatedly think, believe, and do. Think about that. So the question really isn't about whether you're manifesting or not. The question is, what are you manifesting? So I want to break this down a little bit. And just to let you know, your brain is always listening. Your brain is always paying attention. So it's really, really actually pretty cool. Your brain has this built-in filtering system called the Reticular Activating System. That's a mouthful. RAS or RAS. People call it all different things, but it's a part of your brain. And basically, the job of the reticular activating system inside of our brain is to determine what information deserves your attention. So I'll kind of explain this to you in a way that makes a little bit more sense. So think about the last time that you bought or researched a new vehicle. Then suddenly you're driving down the road and you start seeing that exact make and model everywhere you go. The cars didn't just magically start showing up everywhere overnight. No, your brain simply started noticing them. It started paying attention to them because you let it in through the reticular activating system. You basically told your brain, hey, this is something I'm now paying attention to because you were researching it or you went to buy it. And now all of a sudden, it opened up your brain to pay attention to all of those. So that actually happened to me when we bought our Toyota 4Runner. I had wanted a blacked out 4Runner forever. I had not actually seen one in real life. I had seen one maybe somewhere else, posted somewhere, wherever. And that was my dream vehicle. I wanted it so bad. And we had rented 4Runners when we were on vacation and in different places, but none of them were ever completely blacked out, like black with blacked out emblems, black interior, all of that. None of them were ever like that. But for some reason in my brain, that's what I wanted. So we started researching it. We started to see if there was any available for sale. And at first, we just found ones that were different colors or not all of the features that we wanted and things like that. Then all of a sudden, a couple states over, my dream vehicle popped up for sale. Oh my goodness, so excited. We drove out, bought it, drove it back home, and we love it, by the way. But I now see them everywhere. I'm like, oh, okay, so everybody else all of a sudden went out and bought the exact same thing. No, it's just that I'm paying more attention to it because I started doing the research and actually bought one myself. So that's probably happened to you, maybe with a vehicle or maybe with something else, that all of a sudden, once you start researching something, all of a sudden then you hear other things or you see other things that are exactly the same. You're like, whoa, what's going on here? I'd never heard that before. And then all of a sudden now I hear it everywhere. It's because of the reticular activating system is letting that information now in. Because think about when you are in a busy room filled with tons of people, if somebody says your name, you're going to pay attention because you are already tuned in to hear your name. You're not necessarily being able to hear the conversations that everybody is having and all the other names that are being said throughout the entire room. But when somebody says your name, amongst all of the other conversation happening, you can hear it. Again, it's because of the reticular activating system. And the same thing is happening with your life. If your thoughts are consistently like, oh, I'll never get ahead, or I'm always broke, or I'm exhausted, or nothing ever works out for me, or there's never enough time in the day, or I'm overweight, or I'm not good enough, all of a sudden your brain starts searching out for evidence that those statements are true. It's starting to look for evidence and you're starting to see it everywhere because you're telling it to yourself. So without realizing it, you begin noticing more and more reasons to stay stuck. All of the reasons to basically say whatever it is that you were just saying over and over again. Then all of a sudden you're making decisions based on that instead of out of possibility. So you expect disappointment, you hesitate, you play small. And over time, those patterns become your reality. Not because you're being punished. It's not like you did anything bad that has caused that, but it's because your thoughts have been shaping your focus, they've been shaping your actions, and it's been ultimately shaping your results. And you know what? Again, like this, we talked about that part of your brain, but also there is science to support this. There has been so much research around these kinds of things. So many people dismiss manifestation because they assume it's based solely on positive thinking or it's woo-woo, as I mentioned before. So many people are just like, manifestation doesn't exist or it's not a real thing or whatever, it doesn't work. But there's actually quite a bit of research out there that supports a lot of pieces of what we actually call manifestation. And again, it's called different things. So researchers have been studying topics like neuroplasticity, showing that we can actually train and change our brains. Our brains are not just set one way. Neuroplasticity is the ability to change our brain. It shows that repeated thoughts strengthen our neural pathways. Super cool, right? And visualization has been shown to improve confidence and performance in athletes, musicians, and different professionals of all different kinds. I can't think of any other ones right now, but I know for sure athletes and musicians. And oh, and actors and actresses and things like that too. They've also studied self-fulfilling prophecies and expectancy effects, where our beliefs actually influence our behaviors and our outcomes, and also gratitude practices, which have been linked to improve mental well-being and resilience. That's why a lot of times people are talking about keep a gratitude journal or what are you grateful for? Because the more you focus on things that you already have and that you're so grateful for, the more that you are not focusing on the negative things, like the things that aren't so great right now. So, whether you call it manifestation or not, or whether you call it mindset or intentional living or alignment or attraction or neuroscience, it doesn't matter what you call it, the principle still remains the same. Where your attention goes, your life tends to follow. Okay. So, and you know what? Even successful people talk about it. You've probably heard a lot of super successful people and like that have publicly shared about how they give a lot of their success to the manifestation process and intentional thinking about how it played a role in their journey. Jim Carrey is famous for this. He talked about how he wrote himself a $10,000 or 10 million 10,000, oh my goodness, $10 million check years before he earned one. But it was actually like the amount that he earned was exactly the $10 million. So that's incredible. Oprah Winfrey has spoken about manifestation and gratitude and intention before and how it's shaped her future. Arnold Schwarzenegger has talked about mentally rehearsing success long before achieving it. Sarah Blakely, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's the one who came up with Spanx that all of us ladies use to kind of suck things in under our clothes. She has shared how mindset helped to shape her entrepreneurial journey. And their success wasn't created by just wishful thinking. No, it came from consistency and consistently aligning their thoughts, beliefs, actions, and persistence toward a vision that they refuse to let go. So if you're constantly focusing all of your attention on what you really want and all of your thoughts and actions are around that and it's consistent, oh my goodness. Wow, amazing things are going to start to happen. So, ask yourself this, what are you feeding your mind? So, imagine spending all day thinking about debt, that every bill reminds you that you're behind. Every purchase creates anxiety. Every conversation reinforces scarcity. Now ask yourself, how likely are you to take bold, confident action around your finances from that mindset? Probably not very likely, right? Now, imagine focusing on becoming someone who manages money wisely, who creates value, who looks for opportunities everywhere, who believes that growth is possible, who sees abundance everywhere. Hmm. Your circumstances might not change overnight, but your decisions might change based on the changes of those thoughts. And eventually, your results begin to change too. The same applies for your health. You can apply that to your health too, not just money, or your relationships, or your confidence, or your career, or your happiness. Literally, you can apply this to anything. So, I want to share with you 3 ways to start manifesting what you actually want. Are you excited? Woo woo. Give me a little excitedness. I want you to send me a little message and just go woo woo. I would love to hear that. message me on Facebook, however you can send it to me. All right. Awesome. So here are the 3 ways that you can start manifesting what you actually want. Number 1, catch the story you're repeating. Catch it. Just grab it. Pay attention to the thoughts that are running through your mind throughout the day, all day, every day. So then ask yourself, is this thought creating the future that I want? Or is it keeping me attached to the past that I don't want? Awareness is always the first step. You hear me talking about awareness all the time. I feel like almost every episode I talk about awareness because it is the key. You can't change anything without being aware of what you want to change, right? Can't change your finances unless you're aware of them. Can't change your thoughts unless you're aware of them. So just become aware of what you're thinking. Catch it. Number 2, change the question. So instead of asking yourself, what if I fail? Try asking yourself, what if this works? Big difference. Or what if things turn out even better than I expected? Just small shifts in your language and the questions that you ask yourself, they surprisingly have big shifts around your perspective of things. Okay, so if something challenging is happening, rather than go straight to, everything's falling apart, ask yourself, what if this works out? What if it turns out even better than expected? Or anything along those lines. Shift the question. Okay, last but not least, number 3, become the future version of you. And I'm not asking you to pretend, make believe or anything like that. No, no, no. Ask yourself one single question every day. What would the healthiest, happiest, wealthiest, most confident version of me do right now? Then do that. Not tomorrow, today. In that moment, when you ask yourself the question, and if you have to write it down on a sticky note or put it as a reminder on your phone so that you don't forget this question, do it. I'll repeat it just so that you know. What would the healthiest, happiest, wealthiest, most confident version of me do right now? And then you can put right at the bottom of your sticky note, do it. Because you know what? Tiny actions repeated, okay, so repeated consistently become powerful transformations. Ooh, so extremely powerful. And you know what? You don't have to figure it out alone. You are not in this alone. One of the biggest reasons why people stay stuck in old patterns, old thinking, isn't because that they aren't capable of thinking new thoughts and stepping into that new version of themselves. It's because they're trying to change themselves in the same environment that created the old patterns and the old version of themselves. I talked about a little bit about this in a previous episode about surrounding yourself with people who are positive versus surrounding yourself with people who are negative. Because if you're around that negativity all the time, you're going to end up thinking those negative thoughts. If you're around positive people all the time, you're going to end up thinking more positive thoughts. And that's exactly why I created my new women's community, because it is a place where women encourage one another. They are learning practical mindset and wellness tools together. They're building healthier habits together, and they're beginning to create lives that they're genuinely excited to wake up to together, doing it together. And that is what makes such a huge difference. Instead of doing something on your own or trying to do something in your old environment, stepping into this new, powerful, positive community that is giving you tools and the people to support you along the way. Because you know what? Lasting change doesn't happen from reading one inspiring quote. Yeah, they're great. It gives you a little boost in the moment, but it's not long lasting, right? It happens through consistent action, from accountability, and surrounding yourself with people who remind you of what's possible. So, what are your next steps? Take a few minutes today, right now, to notice what you're thinking about most often. If your thoughts are constantly rehearsing what you don't want, maybe it's time to start practicing what you do want instead. After all, your future is being shaped by what you repeatedly focus on today. So ask yourself one more time, are you manifesting what you want or exactly what you don't want? And I invite you to join my women's community. I cannot wait to welcome you in there and to see you grow and thrive and step into that future version of you that I know that you can manifest for yourself. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me today for Holistic Mama Speaks. If you loved this episode, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Share it with a friend who needs some help and encouragement and who really just needs to hear what's in this episode. And also don't forget to leave a review and or rating wherever you are listening to this podcast. It helps the podcast to reach those who need to hear this message. So you can also head on over to holisticmamaspeaks.com for show notes, for free resources, and for more to support you along your journey. Thank you again for joining me today. See you next time.